They say every day is for the thief, one day for the owner of the house. But ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, has reversed the role. It is now every day for the owner of the house. If you're involved in bribery, over-invoicing, or any shady deal, the day of reckoning has come. ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is watching you. If you're reported for any corrupt practice, you'll be investigated, prosecuted, and punished. Corruption is harmful to our nation. Join the campaign against it by reporting any corrupt practice to ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Let's join hands with ICPC, make them better.
Let's make Nigeria great again.
ICPC, they want to
hand for corruption.
Break the chain of corruption now. Don't give, don't take. This message is brought to you by ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Hello viewers, welcome to another exciting edition of your program, Corruption Must Go. I'm your host, Hawa Garba. Academic certificates from various levels of education in Nigeria have always been one of the key criteria for employment into government or private organizations in the country, just like the rest of the world. The high premium placed on academic and professional certificates is not misplaced because they tell of the suitability or competence of the holder in relation to the job on offer. As such, it is a given among Nigerians to always strive for the best academic and professional qualifications to be in good positions to get the best employment available in a highly competitive job market. While a majority of people had gone through the full cycles of schooling and professional trainings to obtain certificates for better job opportunities, a trend of worrying dimension has crept into the society with the prevalence of bearers of fake academic credentials. Today on the program, we shall take a look at the rate of fake credentials, which is fast becoming a norm in the public service, and what ICPC is doing to check this ugly trend. We also have a bit of character building drama and our ethics and values spice. But first, let us join Ruth Awodi as she brings us anti-corruption stories.
Welcome to this segment on anti-corruption stories. I am Ruth Awodi. The Acting Director General of the Nigerian Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, Mary Uduk, has sought the expertise of ICPC in tackling corruption in the Nigerian capital market. The acting DG made this request when she led a team of management staff on a courtesy visit to ICPC headquarters in Abuja recently.
The effect and consequences of the absence of market integrity result in lack of transparency and accountability, market instability, institutionalization of wide range of manipulations and abuses, which ultimately results to loss of investor confidence. We understand and appreciate the role of the ICPC as the agency that is responsible for preventing, prohibiting, and prescribing punishments for corrupt practices and other related offenses in Nigeria. The SEC aligns with this mandate and actively participates through a well-functioning anti-corruption and transparency unit in the Commission. It may be recalled that the ICPC indeed formally inaugurated the Commission's Act 2 unit in, I think, 2015. The unit will continue to educate staff on corruption and transparency-related matters to promote ethics and prevent corruption within the Commission.
The SEC acting DG further sought the assistance of the Commission in the area of manpower development, expressing her desire for ICPC to train her organization staff in enforcement and issues of integrity and accountability. She also pledged SEC's readiness to offer training to ICPC operatives on capital market investment. In his response, the ICPC chairman, Professor Bolaji Owasonye, noted that the capital market was very important to the growth of every economy, pointing out that a weakness in the integrity of the system would scare away investors.
I think the capital market has been so badly affected, we're not even talking about foreign investment now, that people who have money don't create jobs. And they have many reasons for not creating jobs. The absence of integrity and all that. For example, I say to young people in my church that there are people in this church who can create jobs. There are many people who don't mind sparing ₦1 million to start a small business. But they don't do so because they cannot guarantee that once you take the money, you will not buy something else, divert the money. So they just keep the money in a bank, it's lying idle. And those are some of the indicators of the weakness of integrity within the system. And then, of course, we've talked about the operators who hoodwink investors, collect the money, and simply disappear or divert it to other purposes. We're quite happy to collaborate with SEC on the areas that you have mentioned. Firstly, to look at those who are giving the investment climate a bad name, collecting the money of investors and diverting the assets. As you rightly observed, we do have capacity for tracing and for seizure. Indeed, we have statutory powers to do so.
Speaking on the presence of the Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit, ACTU in SEC, the ICPC chairman enjoined the visitors to ensure the efficient and free operation of the unit. According to him, a functional and effective ACTU was an asset to any management, especially where people of integrity were at the helm of affairs. An officer with the Kuje Correctional Center, Ahmed Abdu, has been sentenced to a 4-year jail term by the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Gwagwalada, for engaging in employment scam. Justice Abubakar Idris Kutugi, who handed down the sentence to him, said it will deter other government officials that may want to take advantage of the unemployment situation in the country to defraud unsuspecting job seekers. Abdul was charged before the court in 2014 by ICPC for defrauding one Adamu Abubakar of 250,000 naira. He was also said to have collected the same amount from 5 other persons to get them employed into any of Nigeria Immigration Service, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, and Nigerian Correctional Service, and signed an undertaking to refund the money if he failed to deliver. ICPC, in a 2-count charge, told the court that the convict used his position as a public officer to hoodwink his victims into paying money for jobs that did not exist. Prior to the sentencing, Abdul, who was not represented by a counsel, pleaded with the court to be lenient with him, adding that he was a first-time offender as well as the first child of his family with a very large number of dependents. Counsel to ICPC Ngozi Onwuka, in her submission, prayed the court to direct Abdul to make restitution by refunding the monies he collected from other victims to them. Justice Kutugi, in his ruling, said that even though the court was mindful of Abdul's plea for leniency, he was only allowed to apply the dictates of the extant laws upon which he was charged. He said that the facts before the court had shown a consistent trait of the convict using his position as a public officer to lure unsuspecting job seekers to pay for non-existent jobs. He also lamented that the crime committed by Abdul had become widespread in the country, adding that the court's aim was to deter others that may have his kind of mindset from committing crimes. He therefore sentenced him to 4 years imprisonment, 2 years on each count, with no option of fine, and that the sentences would run concurrently. That would be all on this segment. Corruption Must Go continues with Hawa. Stay with us.
are just tuning in, this is Corruption Must Go. The issue of fake credentials is quite worrisome, as some people have somehow used them to secure jobs with the government, even ending up in positions of great responsibilities, which has led to a downturn in quality service delivery in some of the offices. The question then is this trend a recent development? And how is it affecting the state of the nation? We spoke with some Nigerians who shared their views on the matter with us.
Okay. Is it a recent development, and how has it affected the state of the nation?
Fake results, they are not recent, because you find the case where you have senior officials actually being indicted, which means they've been in the system for a while. And we live in a society that prioritizes results over the process, and where money can buy you anything. So it's easier for me to just go and pay someone or get someone to design a certificate for me, and also I have someone in the system who can help me manipulate the process to get that certificate into the system, and I keep running on it. It tells on the conscience of the nation, tells on having the wrong people in places of authority, because these are people who can actually influence things. You have people who are supposed to be creating policies who have no qualification to create such policies. They have no moral rights to be in the positions they are in. So it's affecting our nation when you have the square pegs in the round holes, and you have situation where people who have no business being in offices occupying the positions of power. It's a sad, but I'm glad that they have been found out and people are being told for who they really are, and there's hope.
It's been happening. At least recently we've been hearing some cases whereby some people have been discovered after several years in service. But I think the reason why it's prominent is because basically people concentrate more on certification and qualification. When you know you're not going to be verified, all they want to know is if you have the certificate to do the job. Then you find more cases whereby people can just bring up their certificates to claim a job. But when you know you're going to be verified, they're going to want to know if you're competent enough to handle such positions. Then there will be no point faking a certificate, because you know you're still going to be verified. And in other cases, you can see people when opportunities don't come up. A lot of people have lost faith in going to school or reading up. You know, people have lost faith. So many people don't want to go to school. Then in the future, when opportunities rise up and they see that there's an opportunity, now I need that certificate, you know. But it's already too late, they don't have it, so they think of faking it. So I think if people have more faith in the educational system, have hope that I can go to school and I can get a job, they might go to school and actually get a certificate and get qualified.
It has been. It's not new. Even though we may not be able to say the percentage or what was it at that time and the present time, but it has always been there.
How has it affected the state of the nation?
In so many ways. When we look at presently, we look at the international perception. It's a very bad, image that it has brought to us. They look at us as people who doesn't want to follow the right way. That's one. Then the other way, even the physical development of the nation. When we get what we don't have the qualification to do, building collapse in the health sectors, even in the economy, putting the wrong peg. They don't have the qualification to run the economy. They have the certificate, because that's what we follow. Not, can you do it? What do you have? So that promotion of certificate has brought about the quest to get it at any cost. And then, so I think it has really reduced our development to what it should have been.
To curtail this worrying trend and enhance productivity in public service, ICPC has secured multiple convictions against persons prosecuted over possessions of fake credentials. For instance, a former director of works at the Federal Polytechnic Offa, Kwara State, Ilya Philemon Hassan, was sentenced to 9 months in jail by a state high court in Ilorin for parading forged certificates to gain employment. Hassan's journey to the correctional home was confirmed by the court when the commission proved beyond reasonable doubt that a master's degree in building construction technology from the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, he laid claim to was fake. Also, the commission secured conviction against one Roland Onesemode for forging a Bachelor's of Chemical Engineering degree of the University of Port Harcourt. Onesemode, who had been in the business of forging such certificates and selling them to interested buyers, was nabbed by ICPC through a sting operation and subsequently charged to court. Similarly, an FCT High Court, Jabi Abuja, sentenced a civil servant in the office of the Auditor General of the Federation, James Ayodele Leby, to 2 years imprisonment for using fake Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria certificates to gain promotion in his office. A lawyer from our legal department gives us details of these cases and more. As a lawyer, can you tell us what you understand by fake credentials?
Fake credentials is a criminal act. It is an offense against the state. It's being criminalized in section 362 of the Penal Code, where it defines it, among others, to include any person who dishonestly or fraudulently makes, signs, executes a document with the intention of causing it to be used as genuine. So the key word there is that it is a dishonest act and a fraudulent act. The maker is fully aware that the document is forged, yet you go out there using same as genuine. It's a very serious offense, and the punishment thereof is 14 years imprisonment. Now, Section 25 ICPC Act 2000 also make provision of false document, where it stated that any person who makes to an officer of the commission or a public servant any statement which to the maker of the person that the statement is forged or misleading. Now, the key word there is that the person is making a statement, he knew fully well that the statement is forged. Now he wants the public officer or the person whom is making the statement to believe same as genuine. Now, the question is, why must somebody present forged documents, if not for selfish interest or impunity? Forged documents also include presenting of forged tax clearance certificates. Some people, in a bid to bid one contract from government, goes out there presenting forged certificates, tax clearance certificate to the government. By so doing, they are shortchanging government of the revenue that is due for the government.
Okay, thank you. Now, what has ICPC done in this regard?
ICPC has done so well in the area of flushing out those who are using fake documents. And I want to assure you that ICPC will not relent in flushing them out of the society. Now, the ICPC has investigated many ministries, departments, and agencies of government. And we discovered that so many of them who gain employment in government parastatals gain such using forged documents. We have arrested most of them. Some of them are in one form of hearing or the other in the various courts. And we have secured a lot of convictions. Some of them are right now facing one jail term or the other. And I want to tell you that ICPC, no matter how long it will take, we must get those people who are doing that. Because I don't know why somebody will just wake up in the morning, go to the next available business center, produce a fake document, and use them to gain employment at the instance of many genuine Nigerians who are qualified to be occupying those positions. So it's a very serious menace which ICPC is addressing, and we will not stop in doing that.
Okay, can you tell us more about the staff of the Auditor General's office that was convicted?
His name is Wanlebi Ayodola James. He was convicted of using fake documents. He was a staff of the General's office. Out of greed, he went out there and forged ICANN certificates so as to be promoted in the office. ICPC got the report, we investigated him and discovered that actually he committed that offense. We now charge him to court before Justice Yusuf Haliru of the FCT High Court. In convicting him to 2 years imprisonment, my Lord stated that ICPC should go out there to scrutinize all federal employees to identify those who are using forged documents to gain this employment. In the judgment, our learned judge stated that if this kind of people is allowed, he could one day become the Auditor General of the Federation. I know the implication for the country. You have someone who is not qualified, who does not have the prerequisite certificate to be appointed as Auditor General of the Federation, is now occupying that position. So it's a very serious issue, and I want to thank, complying with the judgment of our honorable judge. ICPC is doing that, and we will not stop in doing that.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Hi. We are here for registration.
Can I have your number, please? 49. Number 2 just left my office now.
So?
It is number 3 Stone.
Are you saying I have to be on the queue? Do you know who you're talking to?
Our policy says we should queue. Madam, it is high time we started doing things right in this country. Next, please. Turn around.
Mr. Brief, you really need this money for a new pair of shoes.
That notwithstanding, I shall not be bribed. This is corruption, not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
In all of the cases reviewed by our lawyer, ICPC shares the same opinion with the judge that the prosecution of offenders of corrupt acts would reduce corruption in public service, even as the Commission believes strongly that a strict vetting of workers by ministries, departments, and agencies of government would prevent those with fake certificates from hiding in the system. That's our package on this week's edition. You can watch the program on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/ICPC Nigeria. See you again next week. Bye for now.